Welcome, friends, to our Yin Yoga class. My name is Tammy. Thank you for joining me. Coming to our mat, we shall begin our class lying on our back. Our class will be for relief of neck, shoulder, and back tightness. Something that usually most of us are working throughout the day. We'll lie on our back. Now, with our pose here, if you do have your pillows or your blocks handy, please make sure they're in arm's reach. So I'll just roll over and I will get one of my blocks. Supported bridge will be our first pose. So take yourself time to set up. I'll put my block underneath of my sacrum. And I'm using the middle height. And when I'm in supported bridge, I always look up towards the ceiling. You could use a pillow, stack a couple pillows on top of each other too, just to get that right height for yourself in a ski slope. We were just talking about skiing. Cross-country skiing, of course, had those hills. I remember them. Going up the hill with my dad. So in supported bridge, we can place our hands onto our hips or down towards the ground, just finding where it's comfortable for you, for your shoulders. You can turn your palms up towards the sky too. We close our eyes. Let your pelvis release into your support to be able to release into the ground. Let it take your weight. Although our focus is on relief of our neck and our shoulders and our back, you will find this pose opening up through the front of the body, into the pelvis, which of course touching to your back, but also into your abdomen, into your chest. Here we're not pressing down into our head, letting your shoulders, your pelvis, your feet take the weight. And then we take it into the ground. We turn it into our breath and focus on ourselves. This pose also helps to open up through the hip flexors, which attach to our lower back. Coming out of supported bridge, we remove our prop, so just sliding it away, and then we draw our pelvis down towards the ground. Here, take one knee into the chest, the other knee into the chest, and we hold in cradle. Again, we let our pelvis sink into the ground. Expand through your back. Your knees can tip out to the sides. My hands are under my legs, so into my knee pits. It's a nice little compression into my hands, into my intestines with my legs tucked in. We let our lower back settle into the ground. A counter pose from our shoulder bridge. And continue to breathe, inhaling and exhaling. Your exhale breath can be longer than the inhale breath. You could also count it out. You'll be inhaling for 6 breaths, exhaling for 8 breaths. You could shorten that to inhaling for 4 counts, exhaling for 6 counts, because it breaths that counts. Coming out of cradle, we take our right foot down to the ground, left foot down to the ground. I'd like you to extend the legs straight. Our next pose is Vanadasana. Here it's a nice stretch through the side of our body. We walk our legs over to the left corner of our mat, and we walk our upper body to the left corner of the mat. If the right hip is really tipping up, just coming out of the banana shape of it, please. And then from here, if it works for you, you can bring your arms overhead, up through the front of our body here again, shoulders. You may cross your right ankle over top of the left ankle. Sometimes it's nice to hold on to your hands or opposite elbows. So holding on to elbows. What do you want to do for yourself? You can imagine standing and doing this pose. We would be tipping over to the side and getting the side stretch into the back here. Using the floor, the ground as our support, and let ourselves release into this pose a little bit more. Let your exhale breath help you to let go any areas of tightness. from the last time that we had this pose, that we held it, could be different. Could be another area that could be tight. But just feel good. Yoga makes us feel good. Helps us to relax. Let our thoughts ease, mind ease. Coming out of Bananasana, we uncross our ankles. We release our arms, taking your legs back to the center, and then upper body, walking it back to the center. Now walk your legs over to the right corner, and then upper body over to the right corner. You can just feel that nice stretch all along the side of the body. You may bring your arms overhead again. You can cross your left ankle over top of the right. You can hold on to your hands, opposite elbows. Just let your arms go. Now Yin is passive, but also active, because we are actively breathing into areas of tightness. Exhaling, letting go. We are aware. We're aware of how we're feeling, aware of our thoughts, but we're not changing anything. We're aware, we are noticing. If you need to adjust at any time, please do so, and then you can make your way back into stillness. In this pose, we are long through the waist. Just getting the side stretch into our back, length. Sometimes I think of this pose, if we would be standing, it would be crescent moon that you're tipping over, stretching all along the side of the body. Coming out of Banana Asana. Uncrossing the ankles. Release your hands, your arms. Take your upper body back. Taking your legs back. And now bending through the right knee and left knee. Take your knees into the chest. And we hold. Back into cradle here. Coming out of cradle, take your right foot down, left foot down, right arm overhead, and we roll over to our right side to fetal and make our way back up to seated. Coming into child's pose. Uncurling the toes. And we sit back into child's pose here. Your arms could be forward or they could be by the sides of the body. You may want to turn your knees to the sides of your mat too. And then let your upper body rest in between your legs. If this pose does not work for you, not accessible for your knees, you can do this seated and open up your legs and then fold forward and let the head hang. I love doing it that way too. It's one of my favorite poses to do. We are stretching into our back with the forehead resting, letting the forehead rest. It helps to release our head into the ground. Coming out of child's pose, come to all fours and sitting up. For our next pose will be shoelace. We take our right leg, we cross it over top of the left leg. The goal is to have our knees stacked on top of each other. Now remember, that's the goal. Lots of ways we could do this though. You could have your left leg straight and crossing your right leg over top, like this. You could also use a pillow or a block and place it underneath of the knee. So my block is going to be too little, so I would use a pillow and stack them on top of each other. You're finding what you would like to do yourself. Also, you could take your right foot into the inner thigh. Okay, a few options. Now, we tip our left ear to the shoulder. So left ear to the left shoulder. And we stretch into the right side of the neck. And we breathe. So good. Excuse me, you could also sit cross-legged or sit on a chair. And then tip the ear to the shoulder. Now coming up out of this pose, we lift our head slowly back to center. Take your hands by the side and coming out of shoelace, and we make our way to the other side. So finding again which way you would like to do this. With your left leg over top, you can stack the knees on top of each other, or right leg straight, left ankle crossing over top or into the inner thigh. Remember, we can use chair. Now, tipping our right ear over to the shoulder. Close your eyes. Breathe. And coming out of shoelace, we take our head back up slowly, so gentle, and back to center. Take your hands by the side and crossing your legs, we shall do a windshield wiper through our legs. So take your feet wider than the hips and windshield wiper, knees side to side. So mobility for pelvis and back. Now crossing your right leg over top of the left. You can sit again on a chair. And with an inhale, we draw our upper body towards the sky, and then exhale, fold forward, and let our head hang. Sometimes it's nice to turn your palms up towards the sky to help release through the wrists and let yourself go a little bit deeper into the stretch, into this lovely pose. We soften a little bit more every time with the exhale breath. Coming out of this forward fold, we come back up. We shall repeat it for the other side. We're going to just change our legs so that it would be the left leg crossing in front of the right. So we take our right leg in first and then left leg crossing in front. We sit up tall, inhale, and exhale, and the forward fold. And I'm turning my palms up towards the sky. What would you like to do? You can stack pillows up too. and then let your upper body rest. Are you able to let yourself go a little bit deeper into this pose? So just let go. Coming out of our forward fold. Back up. Now sometimes I say let go, and to try to let ourselves ease into the pose a little bit more. And of course, sometimes it's easier said than done. So we work our way to that point, just starting to release a little bit deeper. Coming into a twist for our next pose. Here, just take your legs out first. Shake, 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 shake. And then crossing the right leg over top of the left leg for easy pose. It's always nice to sit up on a higher, something higher too, so that your hips are higher than the knees, and then it'll take pressure off of your lower back. So just rolling up your mat here. Sit on a cushion, and we'll sit up, and we'll twist over to our left side to get the stretch into our right side. And we twist, twist, twist. Sorry, it is to our left side that we're twisting and getting our stretch. Close your eyes. Really, we're feeling the stretch onto both sides. A little bit more twist for our neck. Use your exhale breath. Coming out of the twist, ever so slowly coming back to our center. We twist, a little twist over to the other side. And back to the center. And we uncross to the other side. Now we cross our left leg over top the right. We sit up tall. We turn through our spine, your spiral staircase. Taking my right hand down, And the last part, you can turn your head a little bit more. Close your eyes and find stillness. Your breath guides you. Inhale, thinking of blank. Exhale, thinking of release, letting go. Inhale, breath, thinking of support for your body, for your spine. Now out of the twist, you can open up your eyes and come back to the center, to the other side, little twist, and the back to the center again. I'm just gonna take my mat back down to the ground, and we make our way to the front of our body. And here on the front of our body, we take our right arm through the left side for threading the needle. Now, when we slide underneath, you can place your head down onto the left hand, or left hand will come forward and let the forehead rest. Now, seeing what's going to work for you. If this does not work for you, you can sit up. So I'll show you it this way too. Actually, you can come onto fours and then threading the needle this way. That just might be a nicer way for you to do it. Or sitting up and you're crossing your arm over top. 3 different versions. Coming out. Stretch. Oh, into the other side. Again, you could be lying down or upright. You could also be on all fours and then threading the needle that way. So I'll take my left arm through. You may let the forehead rest like me or the arm straight. Setting yourself up first, finding what is going to work for you, that is comfortable for you, accessible. Coming out of threading the needle, you may sit back into child's pose. And then coming into all fours, we'll come into puppy pose. Now for our last pose that we did, sometimes the pose is not comfortable at first, but then once you kind of just move through your body and seeing like where it's going to be able to work for me, then finding that your body starts to be able to release. We do a big step forward with the right hand, a big step forward with the left hand for puppy pose. We draw our forearms down, our pelvis, hips, so they stay above our knees. Now again, if this is not accessible for your knees, you can sit up and you can do a little back bend. You can sit on a chair. We let our forehead rest here for puppy pose. Our heart is drawing down. So this is melting heart. Yin Yin, puppy pose for other versions of yoga. This is such a lovely stretch into underneath of the arms, your shoulders, your back, your shoulder blades. You could add on a little variation with your arms coming overhead and placing your hands together in prayer. Now releasing, melting heart. We come back to all fours. We sit on the side of our body. Our next pose could be done in a couple different ways. So I'll show you this with standing on our knees and then sitting back into our heels. We turn our hands to face our knees. We can hold here. Or this is a nice way to do it too. With a firm pillow, and just taking pressure off the knees. Cross the legs and then turn your palms down. Sorry, turn your fingers down, pointing down towards the ground. You could also do this against, it's against a table, but that you're pushing your hands down like this. So you could do it this way too, on your firm pillow, and just your palms come down towards the ground. It is just a little bit different variation there. But it's the same idea that we are giving our stretch into our forearms. Now when your forearms are really tight, and a lot of times they are because we are on the computer a lot more, shoulders get tight. So we have to stretch into our forearms to help. And coming out, stretch for the forearms. We can just release, roll back through our shoulders. And now making our way down towards the ground. Turning onto the body, side of the body, roll over to your back. I'm pretty sure I hear my son snoring right now. It's kind of funny. Bring your right knee in and then left knee in towards the chest. We bring our legs up and over to the left side. Our arms come in line with our shoulders. We turn our head the opposite way of our knees. Head comes back towards the center. And you can use your hand, left hand, and then bring your knees up and over back to the center, and then to the other side. And arms again in line with the shoulders, then at the elbows, and turning the head the opposite way of the knees. Head comes back to the center. And we had the twist when we were upright, but of course this twist is so nice when our body's fully supported with the ground. And now bringing knees back to the center. And knees come back into the chest. Our final pose, Shavasana. You could also be seated on the side of the body. Knees bent or legs straight. You have the legs up the wall. So many lovely versions. So what would you like to do for Shavasana for yourself? Nice and warm, coming into your meditation. Finding stillness. We let our body go. Feeling light, feeling weightless. We sink and let go. I will call you back when it is time. Slowly coming back. Noticing the surface you're lying on or sitting on. Notice sounds around you. Notice your breath. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. Maybe a shift through the body. And if you're lying on the ground, bending through the knees, taking the right arm overhead and rolling over to right side to fetal, excuse me, and then making your way up to a comfortable seated pose. Be cross-legged, sitting in hero, heels. And then we place our hands to our heart center. I hope this practice has helped you to find relief in your shoulders, neck, back. I hope our Shavasana, you're able to let yourself drift, let go. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.
Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome, Nancy.